Right, welcome everybody to another episode of Chris and Dave's Reality Cast. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Phelps, and my co-host and very good friend is Mr. Dave Horrocks.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. We are covering The Bachelor, Season 26, Episode 4. Now, Chris, we have given a bit of stick to this franchise, but I've got to tell you, kind of loving this series.
Well, Mr. Horrocks, I am with you. I know we're always at our best usually when we're knocking heads, but I have really enjoyed this. I said it the last few episodes. The women bring the drama, Dave, and they bring the fire, and I'm all for it. This is night and day from Michelle's season. I've absolutely loved it. And the casting people, whatever we think of some of these characters, and I'm sure people listening are going to have a lot to say, especially about a certain character. It would be pretty fucking boring, Dave, without these characters. As much as she is infuriating me, and we're going to talk about her, I think this series would be downright boring. So, no, brilliant. Yeah. And also, Dave, we have a few emails and stuff for me later on. So we'll talk about it.
We do love our interaction, and I definitely love this particular interaction. So we'll get to that later. But I mean, we start off, Chris. The episode pretty much it's where we left off, isn't it? You know, it's drama between Shannae and Elizabeth. And what do you reckon to how Clayton decided, you know, he's going to put his foot down, he's going to sort this shit out? And then all I could think was the Homer Simpson. You know, when Homer's just daydreaming, like someone's talking to him, and you've got the monkey, that like a little circus monkey with the
with the symbols.
It just looked like that, and ends up fucking walking off so they can just carry on arguing. What do you reckon to the whole shrimp debate?
Well, I know we see as much as they want us to show on the edit and everything. I totally get that. But nobody has got a good word to say about Shannae. He brings them together at sort of a NATO sort of peacekeeping envoy mission to get them to thrash it out and do the old handshake, and he's going to be in the middle, and it's like we're all friends again for the cameras. And I've got a question, Clayton, Dave, and his judgment of people, because I've not seen Elizabeth do anything. I've seen her stick up for herself. I know we're on the verge, which I must admit tonight, we are on the verge of everyone ganging up on Shannae, which Shannae, I think, is going to play that card in the next episode, Dave. That's what they've got to be wary of. But for me, Shannae is just horrible. She's been absolutely wicked, fantastic TV, Dave. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely amazing. We're talking Claire levels of holy shit, she does not care. I love it, but in the same respect, as a person, Shannae is just horrendous, but brilliant. And Clayton, Dave, useless, absolutely useless. Why sit there, bring them together and walk off? He did nothing, did he? He just didn't articulate himself. It was brilliant. It was absolutely comedy gold for me.
He just seemed to sit there as if it was like, I don't want to be here. just can the ground just open up and just swallow me whole? You know, I want to get out of here. I've called them because the producers told me I should do, but now I just don't want to be here. That's the thing that's making this season great, Chris. You can tell these producers are playing him like a fucking flute. And it is fucking, I'm here for it. So yeah, you're right. Shannae is horrible, and she's certainly not someone who you'd want in your own life. But in terms of a series villain, she's bloody brilliant. And so I think in equal parts, I hate her, but love her for the bring in the drama kind of thing. So, yeah, and like I say, Clayton, just absolutely fucking useless. But again, Chris, we had a rose ceremony fairly quickly into the episode. I don't like this. I kind of like the rose ceremony to be, you know, the cliffhanger at the end. So it just seems a bit weird to have it at the start. But of course, you know, it comes down to Shannae and Elizabeth, doesn't it? And, you know, they've made sure they are stood together so they can get them in the same camera shot and everything. And he goes with Shannae, which, you know, again, do you think that was his decision or just the producers saying, look, We need a series villain. She's great, or just nudging him to say, look, we need to keep her on.
Yeah. You know what? It's funny you should say that because I was thinking, have the producers in the background gone, it's Elizabeth, Clayton, it's Elizabeth. Don't just listen to Shannae because you're right. It makes no sense. Shannae is not liked by any of the girls. She's got a really poor attitude. She was saying she's being bullied by Elizabeth. I have not seen anything. She's calling her toxic, using all the buzzwords, Dave, that you would use when you're trying to sort of overthrow somebody in one of these programs. We know that nobody tolerates bullying and things like that. But for me, Shannae is the bully, Dave. Absolutely, Shanae's the bully. She's got crocodile tears.
She's fucking brilliant, though, isn't she?
I mean, she's brilliant. She plays it like pantomime. Dick Dastardly levels of, twiddling moustache sort of, but like, I don't care. I'm going to come out with whatever I want to. But Clayton, what an absolute fucking doormat, Dave. Just useless again. Did nothing to diffuse it. Made it worse. And how he picked her over Elizabeth, I do not know. However, when it happened, I was like, oh, this is going to be really good now for the rest of the episode because the girls were fuming with her.
Yeah. Oh, it was great. It was great. And I genuinely was thinking, oh, I'm loving this. Even though, the human part of me obviously feels sorry for Elizabeth. I don't think she did a great deal wrong. But Chris, Clayton has issued an apology on Instagram.
Was it?
So he says, I'm sorry, Elizabeth, for what you're going through. I wish I could have seen what was happening when I wasn't there. I obviously knew you all weren't in a good place with each other, but I thought at the time it was solely petty drama. I would have sent Shannae home immediately for making fun of you for being neurodivergent had I known. Overall, the experience for me watching hasn't been fun, simply because I'm seeing all the damage that I caused. I really meant well, but my actions weren't always the best, as I can now see the repercussions from my decisions. I promise you I'm learning from the mistakes, though, and I'm doing everything in my power to come out of the other side a better man.
What?
Now, Chris, what a fucking dick.
Yeah.
He's fucking, we're here for the drama, you bellend. This is what it's all about. This is what's making your series actually fucking good, not you. So, I don't know. I think he's just taking it all a bit too seriously, Chris.
I do, and also the apology he's given Elizabeth is what Shannae should be giving to Elizabeth. He's done nothing wrong. He was manipulated by Shannae and probably the producers, like you just said. And he's gone with that. He's gone with his gut. It doesn't help the fact that every time Shannae sees him, she fucking jumps on him like an anaconda, Dave, doesn't she? Like she's wrapping herself around him. I mean, most of the girls are doing that, but she's wrapping herself around him, snogging his face off. I've not really seen Elizabeth do a lot of that. I think that's probably one of the reasons because he might have a physical connection at this point in the show. But that was over the top. All he had to say was, Elizabeth, I'm sorry. That was the wrong decision. Can you forgive me? I didn't realize what was going on. That's it. The back end of that fucking apology was bullshit. Because I'm thinking, well, she's gone. It's not like he's like, we know that he falls in love with 3 women because they keep telling us every episode. It's not like he's slept with her and then slept with the other. That's fair enough. That's a different conversation. But I don't get it at all. And poor Elizabeth's gone for me. I thought she was quite nice, to be honest, Dave. I could be wrong, but
here's another suggestion, Chris. If you're really sorry for, Elizabeth's plight, DM her.
Yes.
You don't need to put it in your Instagram fucking stories for everyone else to read. It's not for Elizabeth, is it? He's just trying to make himself look better and feel better, probably.
That's a very good point, actually, Dave. That's a very, very good point. So,
But anyway, if I had to make the choice, Chris, I'd have chosen Elizabeth to go. Like I say, I absolutely hate Shannae just as much as you do. But I'm like, fucking hell, I'm here for the drama. And the fact that she just does not give a toss. She is balls out. Come at me, bitches. I'm fucking here for Clayton and fuck the lot of you. So, yeah, I'm fucking loving Shannae.
know what? I think maybe even with the situation with Claire and that, we went I went full body fucking for her. When you look back, we did say when Tayshia come in, sort of like, oh, it's a bit boring now, you know. So that's the thing. This Shannae character, Jesus Christ, Dave, they've picked her from somewhere. I think she's the best baddie we've seen so far since we've been covering the Bachelor franchise and Bachelorette. Without a doubt, she has been different level, horrid, and just brilliant TV.
But I almost think I've probably changed in how I'm viewing it. So I think Victoria in Matt's season probably ran Shannae pretty close, but she wasn't around for that much longer. But she was pretty horrible. And I just remember thinking, oh, fuck off. You are the worst. Because I'm thinking about it, you know, in the context of, you know, if you knew this person in real life, and like you say, when the villains go, the series just becomes bland and boring. And so I think I've had a bit of a penny dropping moment where it's like, oh no, we need the villains to bring the drama. And it's when they get rid of the villains that's when it gets pretty boring. Imagine if Cassidy was still in. Was it Cassidy?
Cassidy, yeah. Very good call there. Because I think as well, Dave, I think you're right, is the situation with like Elizabeth was they were doing all that foreshadowing before where Shannae is just laying into everyone, laying into her. I'm here to win. I'm, being a bitch, basically. So usually when that happens, Clayton's like, I'm sorry, you're going. And I did think, as he went through the rose ceremony, when he called Shannae up for the last rose, I thought, because he was quite somber, we got the old, Jesse come out, oh, I'm sorry. We see it every series. The evening's dates have been cancelled. He's just not in the right frame of mind. He's Bachelor DNA 101. We know it's coming. They always cancel these fucking dates, probably to save a bit of money. We knew it was going. He comes there like dead so somber. When she comes to his face, I thought, you know what? There's going to be a twist there. He's going to turn around and go, and he didn't. And he gave her the fucking rose and then literally snogged her. And I was like, oh, Clayton, mate, what are you doing? What a terrible judge of character. But I'm thinking, well, this is going to be fantastic because we're about 15, 20 minutes into this episode. We've still got over an hour at least of fucking drama. So, yeah, just fantastic. As a person, David, you're right. In real life, you would not, if you were single, I would say you would not go anywhere near someone like Shannae. That would just be a nightmare.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? It's borderline disturbing, Chris, because when she turns on the charm and the gooiness with Clayton, it's like, oh, fucking hell, you are a master of manipulation, aren't you? You are really good at this. I just think, oh, Christ, it must be difficult if someone is being like that with you to see through it all, because she is so good at switching it. And so, yeah, I'm here for it. And, spoilers for the end. But, it does appear like she goes quite far, Shannae, in this.
Yeah. Again, unbelievable. He must be cringing. He's put this, like you say, this faux apology to Elizabeth. And I think you're right, actually. It is more for him and his credibility and his sort of image. But I find it really strange. I mean, they go on this Texas estate and he takes this Rachel and she's cooing over him, not seeing a lot between them. But I'll tell you what, Dave, there was a very, very uncomfortable snogging scene after they'd done all horse riding and that, because she runs up to him, wraps her legs around him. He's there, hand on the pert bottom, shall we say. And they're going for it. But then there's a bit where the snogging sat down and they are going for it for a good minute on camera, and I'm like, all right, we get it. I'm thinking Clayton's having the time of his life, like the old
Clayton is living his best life, isn't he? Fucking hell.
She is cute, and she's saying like, oh, I think I'm falling for the usual lines and that. But I actually think there's a chemistry between them two, Dave. I think this Rachel has come from nowhere for me, but I actually honestly think that aesthetically, together, and I'm looking at an article of the picture of them when they were sat down and
I wondered what you're going to say then.
No, it's none of them been released yet, Dave. But not that I'd look at them, but no, it's they look very aesthetically good together. I've got a feeling she might be the one who he takes at the end. I could be wrong, but
I think he takes a few. That's the problem, isn't it? So, I thought it was a nice enough date, but there's still too many of them yet, Chris, for me to figure out. He's just fucking snogging everyone, isn't he? And got his big shit-eating grin there. He's just having a great time. But Chris, you know what irritated me in a disproportionately large way was Jesse Palmer coming in, and he's going on about this fucking international trip because he said, they cancelled the cocktail party, hadn't they?
Yeah.
And then he sort of says, there's not going to be a date because we're going to go international. And Chris, I don't think Jesse Palmer understands what fucking international is. Texas is not international. I thought, are they going to push the boat out? Are they going to go to Canada here? But no, they go to Texas. And even though, it's the same fucking country, you bellend. So
it's international, Dave. He meant it with a hyphen, not just international. Because you're right. I thought Mexico was incoming or something like that. Something.
Oh yeah, they could have gone to Mexico.
I picked up on that. I'm not feeling this Jesse guy at all, Dave. I'm being honest. And let me just clear something up, Dave. This is initial thoughts. When we talk about the emails,
are you gonna throw Jesse Palmer under the bus? Actually, no. I think it might be me next week, mightn't it, for slagging off old Jesse Palmer there? But no, I mean, he's doing an okay job, isn't he, in terms of like the other presenters that we've seen? But just that whole international thing, it just wound me up.
Yeah, it was very strange. And you know what made me laugh, Dave? So after the date, they have that band, Restless Road. I've never heard of them, and that's not being disrespectful. We don't see a lot of acts from America, do we, over here? Some of the mainstream stuff, but we don't, so I don't know who they are.
Where did that fucking family come from, by the way?
I know.
Did you just pick a random Texas family?
Fuck off. I know, I was looking at that like, do you want to come and join our barbecue? Of course we do. Yeah, I don't know anything about it, but we'll come and eat all your food. Fucking bullshit. I know, but...
And give you advice on life and stuff.
Well, after, it's very good that day. But after that, though, the next day, you've got like the three girls sat together, Sierra, Gabby, and Genevieve. They're all sat together. And then you see Shannae get up where there's a camera on her, Dave. It shoots her from the side and then it shoots her from the back. And I'm like, are you really trying to make it out that we fucking believe?
It was so fake, wasn't it?
It's ridiculous. And you could see her like smirking. I'm thinking she's not even in the same fucking place as these lots.
No, she just happens to be in a room next to the foyer with a camera crew just watching her take a nap.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? And then you're right. And then again, it's like, Shannae knows everything. She's ready for this plan that they've got together, because this Sierra does not like him. It does not like Shannae at all. She's the one who grassed her up to Clayton. But then, Dave, I've got to say, American football, the Bachelor Bowl, got a little bit tasty. And this is what I'm saying about Shannae has been awful, but the girls need to watch that it doesn't turn the other way. And that's where I'm calling him Matt, sorry. Clayton may come in and sort of say you're being mean to her, a la Victoria, like you said earlier. I think Shannae is awful, but I think the girls have just had enough of her sort of sucking up all the time with Clayton, literally.
Yeah, and I think you're right. The thing is, it's all edited, though, isn't it? Because I had the same feeling that, hang about, it is almost doing a 180. They are kind of singling her out, but I was kind of putting myself, if you were in that position, it'd be hard not to just say, look, can we get this fucking See You Next Tuesday out? It's like, she's a nightmare, and anyone can see that she's a nightmare. So I agree. I think, fortunately, Clayton is not reading any of that, so doesn't care. And I heard, I don't know if they actually showed it or not, but Shannae ended up getting tackled. She didn't even have the fucking ball.
You know what, Dave? And I've said this before about like the Bachelor franchise, and including the Bachelorette in that. They must have some good insurance, because whatever we think of the UK, on Love Island, you're not seeing people go for it the way they do on this. This is proper. full contact American football, and they absolutely nail Shannae a few times. I mean, that Marlena teabags her at one point. Sierra does absolute unbelievable tackles. But Sierra went in on Shannae, and then to be fair, she did get her, but Shannae sort of flipped her, and Sierra ended up on her back. And I was thinking, these are all going to have fucking concussion or something, because they absolutely. I love it, because I do respect the fact that it's not this sort of, oh no, we've got to wrap them in cotton wool. Look at the wrestling one we had with the men, and then they had that like touch football thing, didn't we? That American Psycho guy took the other guy out and knocked him unconscious.
Slammed him in the back, didn't he?
Yeah, interesting what they do, I must admit, and I'm here for it, Dave, because it was a great way for everyone to get their frustrations out.
Yeah, I must admit though, I did think it does. I don't know if they have good insurance. I reckon they have really good lawyers and contracts. So it's like, you take part in this at your own risk. You don't have to come on the group date. You can sit on the sidelines if you want. But no one's going to do that, are they? They're going to want to play. They're going to want to get some screen time. I mean, they took it really seriously, didn't they? And the losing team, what was it? The something shrimp against the Purple Punishers.
Punishers, Team Shrimp.
I'll tell you what, Chris, I did enjoy. After I've completely forgot, but when Shannae and Elizabeth were having their argument, in the first sort of 10 minutes or whatever, and all about the fucking shrimp, and then she goes to the buffet and just pulls out all the shrimp and then sits in the middle of the girls eating the shrimp. I'm like, fucking hell, you are poking the bear there.
She don't give a fuck, Dave, does she? Oh. She really doesn't give a fuck. But no, and I think like from that point, the episode, I did have a feeling a little bit of, again, like I say, there is, like you always say, there's the splatterings of the producers. They're always there. It felt like the pizza guy who came and grabbed that guy's coat and threw it in the water.
Yeah.
In the last series, Peter did it, didn't he? And then so Shannae doing this at the end with the trophy and everything was very similar, very, very similar. But again, I'm like, oh, I am here for this, Dave. I am absolutely on fire for this. So yeah, it brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to work out the logistics of exactly where she was, and we've seen this a few times, haven't we? Someone storm on the evening day, even though they're not really technically supposed to get that time. And what did she say? She said something like, I deserve to be here. I wanted to see you. I thought, oh, that sounds a bit entitled. But Clayton's like, okay. He plays along with it. And then by the end of the conversation with Clayton, he's put it in her hands again, and they end up snogging. And, he gets her up on the bar stool. I'm pretty sure if the cameras weren't there, he'd have been fucking nailing her. So, I think little Clayton is having a big input into some of the choices he's making here. Yeah.
And also about Sierra, though, Dave, she laid into Shannae, but he was still having none of it. He thinks that Shanae's being bullied, doesn't he? Like I say, she says, doesn't she, a lot of the women in the house said, we can't believe if you had the full story, you'd want us to be your wife. And then he's having a pop at her because she was tackling her. Just like, oh my God. And then fucking he kisses bloody Shannae later on, doesn't he?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, gets her on the bar.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable, Dave. What a manipulative
she will
person.
Make a great politician, won't she?
Yes, brilliant.
The way she spins the facts in her own favor, it's fucking horrid. But brilliant. It's kind of, you have to admire it a little bit, and fucking dum there hasn't got a clue what's going on. So
no, absolute brilliant TV, Dave. Brilliant. So Dave, come on, let's hear it.
Now Clayton. No, Chris.
I wish it was Clayton at this point.
So last week, Chris, we had a little bit of a discussion about some of the Bachelor alumni, and we've had some feedback. We always love a bit of feedback, and this one is from Maria. And it simply says, Chris, And this is to our cdrealitycast@gmail.com email. And it says, "Hi there, Chris. This episode made me want to let you know that you must stop banging on about Caitlin being fake. She is one of only a handful of bachelorettes since the beginning of this show that is real. She has 2 successful businesses, a hugely successful podcast, 2 songs, and so on. I've been following her since her time on The Bachelor, as she was goofy and funny without being mean. Most people that meet her in person like her. Unlike your beloved Tasha, that is the one that comes across in interviews and podcasts where she was a host as extremely fake. Your reality radar is shit." I can say this as I listen to many podcasts and the likes while working all day long, and not just because I watch 5 minutes of someone on TV. Please calm down with your hatred of spewing on Caitlin. I have thousands of hours listening to people, and this is the first time I've written into a podcast, as I like listening to the 2 of you, especially Dave. All right, might have made that bit up. But when you falsely accuse someone, in brackets, you know jack shit about, so strongly I feel I have to have my say. You cannot like someone without spewing crap you know nothing about out of your mouth. I have done it for 60 years, and I am still alive and laughing all day. Enjoy your day. All the way from South Africa, Maria. No, Chris. I don't know if that wins the award for best email we've ever received, but let's say for this season, I think it's certainly my favourite anyway.
Well, I did actually reply to Maria, and I did say, "Well, that put me in my place. Can I use? Can we put it on?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I knew you'd be chomping at the bit because you read that first, and all I got was your classic, "Oof, we've had an email," and I'm like, "Oh no, that definitely is something to do with me." But we read them out, good and bad. That's the whole point. The whole point of doing this podcast is it's just me and you chatting as friends. If people disagree or agree, just tell us whether we get it right or wrong. I take on board the stuff about Caitlin, Dave. I really do. I may not say any more. I may, but I still stick by what I said. I'm not a massive fan. And that's all I'm going to say. But I love the fact that Maria's been passionate enough just to come in and just absolutely roast me, Dave. I have got nothing to come back at that at all. She's fine. She's absolutely, I can totally understand it. And she is right about the fact that I don't know anything about Caitlin. I am judging her over this. The only time I've ever seen her was the season after Chris Harrison got sacked and this one. So I can't judge her on anything else because I've never seen the series. So there you go. I'm just going off what I see over the last 2 series. But anyway, Dave, come on, hit me with the second one. There's some proper hate mail going down.
Okay, so this one's from Lauren. And it says,
no.
Oh,
no.
Says, "Oh, my poor sweet Chris." Actually, she's not called you Christopher. "I must apologize. I didn't realize how obsessed you had become with me. Clearly, you've been checking your inbox each week for one of my missives." Missives? I actually don't know what that means. Yearning to the point of insomnia, of skin rashes, of hallucinatory paranoia, only to be shattered, crushed, rendered impotent, easy, and incoherent by my complete and total obliviousness to your plight. I now see that your bout of COVID was in fact a wail from Lauren withdrawal. That your gym selfies and fitness pics a desperate cry to hear me coo Christopher yet again. Even your nose seems to have swollen with unshed Lauren craving tears. But now the desperation with which you fabricate an entire faux fight just to win back some crumb of attention, casting me as an addict of the Caitlin Kool-Aid, wishing your slander of her to once again spark my sass. Oh, Chris, true enough, I admire a gal who fucks before fantasy suite permission slips assigned by the creepy Chris Harrison. and give me a lady whose main side gig is selling wine and being drunk on the gram. But this robot host, Caitlin, she's as inconsequential to me as, well, you. as, as of late, truth is painful, I know. Fucking hell. Right, it's still going. One point worth noting, however, as you try to soothe the balm of this unrequited Lauren obsession, Caitlin was also quite notorious for talking massive mountains of shit on this franchise, and especially attacked creator Michael Fleiss for his disgusting misogyny, and yet somehow still bamboozled her way to be host. Christopher, I know you two dream of hosting this show, and you too are covered in the stench of manure you've piled at its door. Might Caitlin, in fact, be your predestined guru, whose career path you might follow from sewage to stage? Dear, dear frenemy, still going. For yes, I will let you keep that title, if only from pity. I implore you to look within and realize you don't need me to call out your rancid opinions to feel alive. You can still do it by yourself. Or if you'd stop interrupting him, leave it to Dave. Until then, please expect a restraining order forthwith. Never yours, L. Chris, I was said the award for the best email of the series. I think it might be a tie.
Right. So this is all your fault. I'm not happy about this interrupted situation as well, but this is your fault with Lauren, right? So I take everything Lauren said on board because you alluded that someone wasn't happy with me, and usually it's Lauren. I put two and two together and come up with five.
Got five.
Hence the reason I was like, Lauren, and I said it. And this has come back to bite me, David, yet again. And so it was only after the podcast that you, as my great friend, was pissing yourself. And you went, it wasn't Lauren. And I'm like, oh, you are joking. She's going to absolutely nail me on an email or Instagram. And she has done that, Dave. So thank you for that, my good friend.
You can always rely on your mates, can't you? It's like,
yeah, I want to
got enough rope? Do you want some more rope?
Oh no, God, I have nothing.
So if you too would like to email in, and after my Jesse Palmer comments, I feel like the tables may be turned next week. But just email us in at cdrealitycast@gmail.com. And it's going to have to be a good email to top those two.
Very good, Dave. And I tell you, look, you've got to take it. You've got to take this sort of thing. Absolutely do. You've got to take it on the chin. And I do. You put yourself out there, Dave, and that's what happens. And with the Lauren situation, it's my own fault for assuming Dave, because again, made an ass of myself. But there you go. So anyway, Lauren,
it goes to show that lots of people do have love for Caitlin. And the thing is, we haven't seen her on her original season on The Bachelor and her Bachelorette season. So probably if we went back and watched that, which we're not going to do, but we would have a different perspective, maybe.
We would, Dave. Now, a big thank you to our patrons, especially Lauren this week, Dave, for that amazing email. Big thank you to Maria as well. I appreciate, honestly, I do love when someone comes in and just roasts me completely. It's brilliant. But honestly, guys, if you want to support us on Patreon, patreon.com/CD Realitycast. The roll call of honor for today is Michelle, Keith, Helen, Brianna, Noreen, Amy, Zoe, Joanna, Helen, Libby, Katie, Dee, Priscilla, Susan, the wonderful Lauren, Lucky Lulu Green, and Kent Gustavson. See, I've put wonderful in there, Dave. Don't want another email like that next week. Yeah. If you want to follow us on social media at CD Realitycast. And also, I'm going to have to keep checking our Instagram more because I did not see this message from Lauren, Dave. So I'm going to make sure that I delete anything like this forthwith going forward. But there you go. No, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Yes. Brilliant that today, mate.
No, it's really good. And like you say, genuinely, I am enjoying this series. And normally, Chris, for the last, however long we've been doing it now, with The Bachelor, it must be getting on for 2 years. It's just a slog. You know, that 2 hours is like, oh, I just have to get through this. But this was genuinely enjoyable. So yeah, I'm really intrigued. I wish they wouldn't keep spoiling at the end, and then when it comes on, I should just switch over, but I don't. I have to see it through, But I'm sure at the end here, he said he made love to 3 people. I don't
Yes, he
think I
did.
misheard that. Yeah. So
No, yeah, something like that. Or he loved 3 people. It was something along them lines.
I thought it was made love to them, not just he was in love with 3 people. So,
Right.
There's going to be some good drama. Usually expect, I mean, it seems to be fucking expected on this franchise, but you usually expect this comes out after the show. You don't expect them to edit this shit in. So, no, I'm here for it. It is of a high standard this season, and it's been great to speak to you. And thanks to everyone out there for listening, for emailing in and just supporting us. And we'll speak to you next time.
Take care, everyone. Bye.